camera. How about them Giants? How about them Giants? How about them Giants?
Oh, yeah. What's happening, people? Woo! Welcome to another episode of Giants Rush. You probably asked me, where the hell am I? Well, I'm out of training in Virginia, so I'm at the hotel, but I didn't want to leave you folks hanging. So thank you for tuning in to another episode of Giants Rush. You'll have to forgive the background. If I unblur it, it just looks like, a very sad hotel room in Virginia. Welcome to Giants Rush, where we talk Giants football 52 weeks of the year. Thanks for hanging out. Giants lose in typical fashion yesterday to the New Orleans Saints. We got Joker here and Chris here. We're going to talk that up. We got Zach behind the scenes. Carr goes 20 for 31 for 219, touchdown and an interception. Locke goes 227, 21 for 49. I can't even believe he threw the ball 49 times yesterday because the game was, and maybe I wrote that down wrong. That was the most boring game I have ever witnessed as a Giants fan. So, one touchdown. Leading rusher for the Giants, Locke, five carries for 59 yards. Kamara, 44 yards on for the day. And again, not a lot going on. But Zach, is it good to be the king, Zach? That's all I want to know.
It's good to be the king.
Bang. Let's bring in the guys and we'll get them tuned up. Let's bring in Chris. I ain't seen Chris because Chris did not go to the game yesterday. He was smashing beer cans somewhere else.
He is the man. Well, the Cats are jumping up is over here giving themselves a beer bath.
There we go. What's up, dude?
Hey, what's up, Craig? Yeah, I'm sorry I missed you on Sunday. Maybe I'll catch you this Sunday.
You didn't miss a whole lot, man. It was rough.
The tailgate, that was it. That was about the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah, we're at the point now where we say we go for the food and the people.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah. So it was ugly. It wasn't even ugly. There was just nothing really to root for. There was just nothing happening, right? Nothing really exciting. But we will talk about a couple of those things. Let's bring in the one and the only Joker Man.
And here we go.
What's up, dude?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
Shawn?
You know what's up. It's another Giants loss to the Saints. Definitely was a winnable game. Something happened yesterday, guys. So in one season, yes, one. Two things happened this year that I have never seen in my life. Realistically, watching, playing, covering the game, two things happened to this season I've never seen happen before.
All right.
Either one of you know what those two things are? One of them happened in the Dallas game. One of them happened yesterday.
A leap over the alignment for a block.
Nope. Seen that before.
Was it the lock quarterback scramble where instead of running for the first down, you ran into guys?
Nope. I'm going to tell you what they are.
All right.
One is I've never seen a player get face masked and then get called for the penalty, which happened to Daniel Bellinger. Right. Got face masked, and they called him for 15 yards. And the entire NFL watched them mark off a 15-yard penalty against the Giants when our guy got face masked. Okay. Second thing is yesterday, first time I have ever in my life seen an unnecessary roughness call on a field goal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've never seen it before.
No.
They are literally stalk blocking, right? There is nothing happening. The Giants get a field goal taken off the board with an unnecessary roughness penalty 2 times this year. In the Giants' 100th anniversary year, have I seen 2 things I have never seen before in my life. I'm like, what the bleep? We're going to have to get you a bleep, Zach, so when I swear, you can bleep me out.
Go bigger, go.
Yep, go bigger, exactly. Let's hit studs and duds. Let's bring that in.
All right.
Studs to duds.
All right, Chris. I'm assuming you watched the game from
Yeah,
the
fortunately.
lean back experience of your living room. I know this is going to be hard. Let's talk about our studs. I don't know if there was any, but who's your game ball going to be given out to the stud?
I'd like to give it to Micah McFadden. He was all over the field. He was playing like a man possessed, like they say. He was getting off blocks. He was playing downhill. So I like the Micah McFadden stood out. And you know, there was a couple guys on defense, but Micah McFadden, I'm giving it to him.
All right,
Stud. 8
yeah.
tackles.
Sorry, roughing the passer on the field goal. There's no passer in the field goal. How can it be roughing the passer, Zach? What are we talking about here, buddy?
Okay.
So unnecessary roughness. I'm pretty sure it was the call. But Chris,
Yeah.
let's talk about that just for a second. I said this to Shawn today. McFadden did have a good game. I think he had 12, 13 tackles, something in that, depending on what source you look at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting enough, Okereke slides over. I mean, Okereke is out. McFadden slides over into Okereke's spot, and he takes off. Right? Played his best game of the year, or maybe second best game of the year. So there's something to be said on maybe he's also playing out of position. Maybe he's more of a natural strong side guy.
Well, I like to think also Bowen kept everything a little easier for a lot of the guys yesterday because there were so many fill-ins, so many guys off the bench playing. So I think he probably, simplified the defense. That's just my guess. Didn't make things too complicated. And maybe that aided well for McFadden to kind of let loose and not think too much.
Like it. I like it. Let me give a quick shout out to JT's in the house. We got Brad. We got Jay. We got Cole is always in the house. He's an OG. We got Daniel Berry. Couple guys, piling out. Oh, what's up, Raymond? Haven't seen you in a while. What's up, Bill? See you guys are piling in the room. Thanks for hanging out with us. All right, then let's roll over to you, Shawn. Who would be your Any Truth King Rush was behind the banner? What banner? What are we talking about? Oh, banner.
You didn't see the pregame banner, the plane going over with telling Mara to fix this?
Oh. No, I don't have my license. I do not fly planes. Though my brother-in-law is a helicopter pilot, but no, it was not me because they spelt please with a Z in it. And
hey, Craig and Shawn, it would have been really funny if it was a drone pulling that banner. That would have been better.
Yeah.
We would have had some answers.
Oh, yeah. No, it was not me, Brad. It was not me behind it. But I will say that it was the highlight of the day because nothing else happened. Yeah. And Brand's here, Baba Booey to you. I love the Stern reference. King Rush, what's up? Go ahead, Shawn. Go ahead, rip him out.
Yeah, I'm going to give it to Trey Hawkins. Nice choice, Chris, with McFadden. Excellent choice. But I'm going to go Trey Hawkins. Had the big interception. Nice plays in the run game. Was doing well in pass as well. And it was a nice interception. Really nice interception. Went up high point of the ball. So, yeah, I'm going to give it to Trey Hawkins.
Yo, let me tell you. You guys know, DBs are my thing. And for the love of God, finally somebody turned around and looked back for the ball. Like when he turned around for the ball, I was like, hallelujah.
Yep.
Like, put this kid on the field for the love of God. Very cool. All right, then we'll go back down the ladder, Shawn. Who's your dud?
Yeah, that's going to be Drew Lock. I mean, obvious choice. I mean, you have an easy first down if you just run straight ahead and he veers to the right for no reason. We have a beautiful screenplay call to the side of the guy who was blitzing, and he chooses not to throw it. Like it took him 4 quarters to finally make throws towards the end of the game, but he was god awful. So yeah, there's my dud.
How about you, Chris? And now it's a good dud, by the way. I think a lot of people would agree with that. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm going to go with the Giants offense. Let me just give you some numbers. In the first half, these were the starting positions. The Saints 48, their own 43, their own 32, their own 49. The Saints 48, their own 49, their own 37. Giants offense. That was the first half.
Oh my goodness. And just
talk about field position, right? That's fantastic field position.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that comes back. You just need a quarterback. We thought it was Jones. Yeah, it was Jones. We plug in another guy who I'm a little hard on him, but I've been telling you, Drew sucks. Drew Lock sucks since June. You guys were all nice. He wasn't the answer. I don't know if they could have got a better backup quarterback, but we're gonna touch on that in a couple of minutes. So there's your studs and duds. Let's keep moving to if you watch the game, you definitely didn't see a whole lot. But Chris, what did you see yesterday? What was your overall vibe of the game?
Going into the game, I was, everybody talked about Kamara running up and down the field and is going to, turn the Giants defensive line into Swiss cheese or defense. I saw a team that played hard. All right. Regardless of how the game ended, they played hard, even on offense. They didn't execute well, but they played hard. And on defense, obviously played hard. And I attribute that to probably a little bit of the game planning, simplifying that on defense. And a lot of these guys that are getting a chance to play, they're playing for their careers. They're playing for the tape. They're playing for next year. And they put all that stuff on there. So I think, for the young guys that played yesterday, the Massos and Johnson and all these other guys, they're playing for next year. And you can see they played hard.
I kind of agree with that.
Even a guy Kubis, all right? I mean, guy that hasn't played all year, and he gets in there, and that might have something there, I like the fire.
How about you, Shawn? What did you see?
Yeah, well, I mean, we talked about it last week with Carl Banks, but Bowen made some adjustments yesterday. He had some different alignments with that D line. He had more, a four-man fronts. He had guys stacking the box a little bit more. So you could tell he made the adjustments to be able to shut down Kamara. And again, it was a makeshift O-line. So I like seeing that. That shows me a little something there. And, to Chris's point, the fact that Kamara didn't run all over us was good. I mean, I liked what I saw from the defense. And again, they were dealing with an offense who was like just putrid and stops at the end of the game to give us the Giants a chance to win. So you can't, good things right there. So I like the adjustments that Bowen finally made.
All right, I can handle that. Well, let's talk about. We know that somebody is getting fired. Like, regardless, there's no way the staff comes back intact. We know probably Kafka is going to bounce because he don't want to be here anyway. They basically have diminished his role entirely, where no one even talks to him or about him. I mean, he's really getting paid to do nothing. Now, I'm sure behind the scenes he's doing something, but Kafka's going to bounce regardless. Chris, who's the scapegoat here? Who is the scapegoat? Somebody's going down. Who is it?
And despite yesterday, I thought the defense played well. I think if nothing else, Bowen may be gone.
I agree.
I'm not saying that's the right move. I mean, maybe it's not. I don't know. I think Bowen's gone. I know Shane. Okay. I know Shawn's Bowen, and I'm not sure how I feel about him, honestly. But I think he's gone.
Yeah. Listen. We do this all the time, right? We overanalyze it. We try to figure it out. When you talk about who's going to be the scapegoat, there will be someone fired. They all can be fired, right? There's no way they all stay, right? There's no way they all stay, Shawn. Who's going to go? Because there's just it doesn't matter if it's all of them, but we know for a fact it's never going to be no one. You can't win 2 games and go 2-15 and you bring back everybody intact.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, Chris's choice does make sense. I'm going to go a little different, but I will say, when you look at the defensive rankings, they're ranked high with the pass. They're ranked pretty good overall. They've only given up 30 points once this year. So as much as it's been awful as a whole, it really hasn't been that bad. But to me, I think the wide receiver coach needs to go. When you're leading the league in drops and the receivers aren't doing the things they need to be doing or progressing the way I'd like to see him go, that's a guy. And again, because I want to go something a little different than Chris. And I know Mike Groh is, son of Al, but I mean, we're leading the league in drops and receivers they run the route short of the sticks. There's things that they don't get themselves open when the quarterback is scrambling. So that's a Whether or not it happens, I don't know, but that's a name I'm going to throw out there because I think the receivers, other than Neighbors, has been a letdown. But even Neighbors would sometimes, struggles with some things. So I mean, get guys that know how to put their hands in the proper placement to catch a ball. Like, Hyatt yesterday. Like, I'm not faulting him, I'm not coming down on him, but I mean, that's if you get your hands the right way, I mean, that's a catch. But again, who's working with these guys on that to instill that in them to make sure they're trying to catch the ball the right way? So yeah, I'm going to go on the wide receiver coach on that one, Craig.
Which is Grow Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's just days where you're like, oh my God, do these guys ever use the jugs machine? Does anybody talk about situational football? I mean, yeah. Watching the wide receivers, like the bad habits they have where Neighbors doesn't come back to the ball. Slayton's hands are always in the wrong place. I don't know what and how Hyatt caught a ball in college because his hands are always backwards, wrong way. He hurts his thumb because he catches the ball wrong. Like I don't get it. I don't get it. So that's a tough call. Kind of lean towards Chris. No matter what Bowen is an enormous disappointment because in the beginning of the year, when everybody was healthy, you just thought he was going to turn this thing into something great. After watching Hard Knocks, looking at what he did in Tennessee, and it never went anywhere. It's like it's not terrible, right? It's never terrible. It's just never good. It's just like, okay, we kind of do a little of this, we kind of do a little of that. There's no identity to the defense.
And I think with Bowen too, you question, like, when they played the Panthers, right, with Bryce Young, why didn't they load the box more and just say Bryce Young beat you? Why was he in man, on third down and 15 on a couple games where, guys got their backs turned, and then you saw a Geno Smith and Joe Burrow run for 40 yards. So that's the kind of stuff. But I think the running game, that's what Bowen was supposed to bring, to stop that running game. And, hey, the players got to play too. I mean, we're blaming Bowen, but they got to play. But it was just interesting to see yesterday with Kamara and the backup, they did a great job.
Yeah, and we've talked about too. Like, I don't know if Bowen had the right guys to stop the run because Okereke and McFadden having, not their best year, but by far, but there's no pushback when Dex isn't on the field. They're, the guards are at the second level on the linebackers, right? Because there's no D tackle. I don't know if Bowen had the talent to run what he wanted to, but he did nothing about it. Like he didn't scheme his way into anything. He just left it as it is for 8 weeks. Let me see what JT said. So far, the coaches they have brought in mainly have been bust. I can tell you who on the offense has developed under the staff. And is Dave's really – I can't tell you. Sorry. And is Dave's really an offensive guru? We never score. Okay. We can have that conversation. Sure. Look, there like I said, there are like, think about he brought Woody called in from the Saints to be the running back coach. And like Tracy was a wide receiver in college and played 1 year of running back in his grad school year. And he transferred to Purdue. So I'm drawing a blank on his name. I can see him in my head.
Joel Thomas.
Thank you. He did a great job with Tracy. Just did a flat out great job with Tracy. There's no other way around it, right? Flott had a pretty decent year this year, and I'm always hard on Flott. Not because of his talent. He's just small. You know what I mean? It's hard to play in the NFL when you're small. So I don't know. DB coach might not have been terrible.
Brasillo.
And perfect. Thank you. And Brasillo look, again, you guys don't spread the word because you guys think I'm crazy. But when the line was healthy, I'll say for the third week in a row, when the line was healthy, Jones was on pace to get sacked 34 less times as he was last year. And you had a running back who was averaging not anymore, but up until last week was averaging 5.1 yards a carry. If your line is bad, which the Giants line was last year, ranked 32nd, you don't have, your quarterback getting sacked, 34 less times, and your running back doesn't have 5 yards of carry. So you guys can continue going crazy out there about how bad the line is. The offensive line is because Andrew Thomas can't stay healthy, and we don't have depth. You want to kill him about depth, then kill him about depth, because all we got is moving guys around, and then all of a sudden JMS is playing with his ninth different guard, or so I'm not gonna kill those guys like on what they had and what they didn't have. But overall, Bowen, I think, should get the axe. He's not the right guy. He's not, and he just doesn't play smash mouth Giants football. And we really, at this point, need to get back to smash mouth football.
But you know who you bring in then, if that's the case? You bring Antonio
the
Pierce
whole.
back.
What's that?
I say you bring Antonio Pierce.
Man, stealing my thunder.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Yes, of course you do. You bring it. Of course you bring Antonio Pierce in. Like it's like a no-brainer. I said, Chris, I was talking about Spags. I don't know if Spags is not going to come here to be the DC unless you gave him so much money and then he had no choice but to come. Spags might want to get a second chance as a head coach. I don't know. We'll get to that.
He might have that opportunity. Yeah, okay. I got you.
Exactly.
We have that opportunity.
Yeah. Cole says Pierce has a job.
Well, maybe in a few weeks he may not.
Yeah, exactly. Right now he does.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, I'm with you on in fact, you know what? You guys have such good answers that I'm like, you know what? Grow and Bowen got to go. I think both of them should be going. If Dave's and Shane are staying. All right. Well, that leads me into this, guys. And by the way, don't forget on Wednesday we do the preview show with Truth, and I think Spartan's on there. I think this Wednesday. So, guys, tune into that. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Guys, there's a really good chance that Dave's gets fired. Shane may get fired, right? We don't know. So let's have a little bit of fun here, right? Shawn, I talked to you about this earlier today a little bit, so I'll start with you.
Yeah.
And if you remember what I asked you, I was like, look, I'm watching Jim Harbaugh, got a great quarterback, and he's making the Chargers fun and relevant, right? And there are guys that, Tuto's back in the house. We're a super sticker. Thank you. Bang. Thank you, Tuto. Appreciate that. Oh, Mark B's back in the room. What's up, Neil? Didn't want you to think I forgot you. Well, what's up, Elo? Bang. So just in fun, because my question is, I'm going to give you one. Is who can coach? Let's say Dave's goes, regardless if Shane stays or not. If Dave's goes, who do you really want? And I don't want like the fan base is being very reactionary and they're running the Ben Johnson. And when I think about who's like having success, it's Campbell, right? It's Shanahan, it's Harbaugh, it's Reed. Like maybe some of these young guys aren't all it's cracked up to be. I don't know. Next year, Shawn, who can? I'm not saying you got to be stuck with this guy. I'm just saying, like right now, if Dave's goes, who can coach this team and turn this around?
I'm going to give two names. And it's the same names I gave a couple weeks ago, and I've been talking about them for a few weeks now. It's Mike Vrabel or Aaron Glenn. Those are the two names that I want to go with. And because of what they're going to bring to the toughness. Aaron Glenn had an interview and he talked about like team building, and he really impressed me with that. And we know what Vrabel does, what the type of players he brings, the identity he's going to bring. So those are the two guys I'm going to go with, because again, I want to bring that physicality back to the Giants. I want the smash mouth. I want things like that. And if you're going to take somebody from that Detroit, you want somebody who has a similar mindset to Dan Campbell, and in my opinion, Aaron Glenn does. So those are the two names I'm going to go with, and I'm sticking with.
I like it. All right, so you guys are gaining some speed, so to speak, in the comments, and I'm reading them. Zach, throw up. Where'd it go? Hang on. Somebody's off the rails, and it's funny. Throw up Tudo's comment, Zach. It's from 7:55.
Jeez.
Yeah, we love you, Tuto, but that's never happening. Like, and I'm not sure, if that shit at all. Here, I'll throw it up. I got it.
That ship has
7:55.
sailed.
There it is. Coach Wink will do a great job. Wink Martindale is not. We are not bringing Wink Martindale back here. It's funny, but he's not. He's not the right
No.
guy. However, Shawn just said about Mike Vrabel. So for you folks out there that don't know much about Mike Vrabel, maybe you're young, maybe you don't care about Tennessee Titans. I don't know. Mike Vrabel was the head coach of the Tennessee Titans from 2018 to 2023. He was 54 wins and 45 losses, which makes you a 545 winning percentage. But listen to this body of work, right? He comes as a rookie coach. He goes 9-7. 2019, he goes 9-7. 2020, he goes 11-5. In 2021, he goes 12-5, and then he falls off. 2022, 7-10. 2023, 6-11. They let him go. This is the guy who didn't even have a quarterback. Like, he played with, and again, his quarterback was Ryan Tannehill. Now, he did have, what do you call it, to hand the ball off to.
Derrick Henry. And they
Derrick
traded
Henry.
away A.J. Brown and a couple other top-notch players. They got rid of good players. So
they got rid of,
those
A.J. Brown, Adoree Jackson, all that kind of stuff. So Vrabel to me, like, I don't know, like, again, watching Harbaugh, watching Shanahan, watching Dan Quinn, like, a little bit more of an old school guy. I like the Vrabel thing. I don't always love defensive coaches, but Chris, what's your thought here? Who can coach? Who can literally come in here? Like I'm not saying the Chargers were a bad team, but they have a different attitude now. You know what I mean? Like they already have a different attitude. Chris, I just want someone like just to toughen these guys up. I think they like Dabes, but I just don't see like these guys fighting for
the identity, right? We still don't know what the identity of this team is. I was a big believer that I wanted an offensive guy going back when Dable was hired. Let the offensive guy, because it's about points in the NFL. But I've kind of switched gears with that, and I'm with Shawn. Give me Mike Vrabel to instill that type of team. You take the personality of your coach to the team. So Mike Vrabel would be a choice, and this is, I don't know if he would leave. And coaches, I don't want a first time coach because I just. We've been down that road twice, 3 times, and it's just like it spooked me at this point. And I don't know if he'd come, but Spags, he's only had his one opportunity with the Rams. He knows the Giant organization. I don't know if he would leave because he has a great situation there. Why would he? But if he ever had any thoughts of getting another shot at the head coach, this may be it. He's in his 60s now. He may not have another opportunity. So if this spot were to open up, maybe he would think about it because he may not have another opportunity to be a head coach. He knows what the Giants are about. He knows what the building's about. He'd bring a defense. My question is, who would be the offensive coordinator?
Yeah, that's a really good. So it's funny. I'm glad you brought it up. So I tweeted that out about 2 weeks ago, to either make Spags the most highest paid defensive coordinator in the NFL. I mean, you'd have to pay him because he's got why would you leave Reed? You got Chris Jones and you're there winning with Mahomes, right?
If he wants to be the boss, right? He wants to run the show. That would be the reason. Majority
of these coaches, have more success when they're their second time around as a coach, right? Coughlin did it, Belichick did it, Reed did it. You know what I mean? Like a lot of these guys just they have more success because they learn from their mistakes, right? And they get better at the job. So Spags has never had a second chance. We can't really count that interim. McAdoo gets fired, and Spags is the head coach for 4 or 5, 6 weeks, whatever it is. I don't think he was terrible with the Rams, but didn't do great. So, yeah, you're right. Spags would be pretty cool, and people want to know, right? Why would he leave that scenario? Well, one is
Right. Yeah.
he's got a history with the franchise. Two, he's probably looked very fondly, in the building, right, for what he did, bringing the Super Bowls to New York, right? Money is another reason, and it could be something simple like he lived in this market for a long time. Like maybe he likes the Jersey Shore, maybe he likes New York pizza.
It could be just simple. How bad does he want to be a head coach? Because he's not going to he may not get another shot.
Yeah. Like, again, like I get it. He's got a lot in Kansas City, right? But again, he may be a New York guy. He may really like it here, right? Because he came from that Philadelphia staff. So he may like East Coast. He may want another shot at it.
Boston, right?
Yeah. Might be his last time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I like that too.
I'll tell you what, whoever comes, the bar's been set so low. If that were to happen, they need, if Babel does get fired, the bar's been set so low that anybody come here, just the slightest improvement.
Yeah. The thing is, Chris, is that I think, and you guys could both jump in here, like, yeah, the bar's low, so we shouldn't try to shoot just above it. And we did, we did that with Shermer. We definitely did that with Judge. We definitely did that with McAdoo. Like everything, and again, I know we debate as fans and we go at it with fans. Everything now should be just going for it. Like I fail to understand why everybody wants to wait more and just let's look at the 3-year plan. Another 3 years of losing. I mean, can you imagine 15 of 17 years of losing because you guys just want to do what the system tells you to do? Like these guys, these really smart GMs, these really, really smart coaches, they're turning teams around in a year, 2 years. They're making them relevant. Look at what did in Houston. D'Amico
Ryans, yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, the dude came in there, was always a great player. He came in there and he created some kind of cool culture because, right, like he was a former player, just like Harbaugh was, or just like, and guys, I'm going to throw this name out here for you to consider. John Gruden, right? The thing about Gruden, and like I said, he's old school. I don't really care what happened with his emails or whatever he did stupid. Like he made mistakes. Probably they all make the same mistakes. Maybe Gruden comes in here and creates, because the only thing is that you have to have the right quarterback because his offense is super complex and it's not meant for everybody. What do you guys think about Gruden?
Yeah, I don't keep me away from Gruden. Yeah.
Yep. What you need to give me some substance.
Yeah, well, I mean, what he did, how things were going, and really like towards the end, like even and with the Raiders, like he wasn't turning things around. Like I just don't think he's not there. Like he took over for a really good team in Tampa and got him to the Super Bowl, took him over the hump, but then they went downhill after that. And then he went back to the Raiders and they weren't doing anything either. So I don't see it. I don't see it with Gruden.
Yeah, I just know he's, there's a lot of people talking. He already has his guys in place. You know what I mean? Like they're already talking if Gruden comes back, like he's tapping Rich Gannon for offensive coordinator. You know what I mean? Like,
and Craig, are we saying that? And Shawn, are we saying that Shane is the GM when this is made? Are we saying that a new GM is also coming in? Like we're talking about a coach, but is this all Shane leading this charge?
I mean, I don't know. I'm just trying to think conceptually, like who could turn this this team around. I don't know. Yes, I mean, no. If Shane's gone, right? It changes the logistics of what happens. If Shane stays, it changes the logistics. I just was wondering if you guys had like a legit coach in your mind that they should think about. And Vrabel is one of them, and
it's not many out there.
Yeah, and Spags is definitely one of them. Like, why wouldn't you take a swing at that? I'm so tired of not taking swings.
And he's learning under Reed. So, I mean, that's a good guy to learn under take a swing. I mean, I like it. And again, these guys that didn't do well the first time around, can do better. But I honestly want a head coach that's a retread that was a winner. Like, I don't, I love Spags, but he didn't win in Los Angeles. So you're taking that risk if he's going to come in. Like, I more want, and it's not against Spags, I just want somebody who has come in and was a winner before that can get us to a winning way and know that he was a proven winner. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
that's
I don't know
just,
who's out there, Sean. That's the thing. Like,
Yeah.
who's
Yeah.
actually
Well,
out
Zach,
there that's done that?
Vrabel's about the
Well,
only one that's
he'd
out
be
there
it.
right now.
Yeah. See,
Zach,
I'm more.
look
And
up- hold on, Zach. But while you're saying that, hold that rip. Zach, look up the body of work for Steve Spagnuolo when he was the coach of the Raiders. Let's talk about facts. So get me his numbers of his win-loss record at the Rams.
And Craig, if I could take it a step further, if we're talking about GMs too, I don't want a GM that's never done it before either. Give me John Dorsey, who was with Kansas City, who's now with Detroit as in charge of player personnel. That's a guy that helped build Kansas City. He's also been with Detroit since 2021 and helped build that team as well. Had a part, comes with a lot of experience, even with the Browns before he left, when that regime left. But a guy like John Dorsey, who carries a lot of years and has built some good teams, I think that's a guy that I wouldn't mind to have an interview. If that
And
GM
Mahomes too, like, isn't he the reason why the Chiefs drafted Mahomes? Wasn't that because of Dorsey?
I don't know if he was. I think he might have been just at that last couple
that was
drafts.
his last
Might have been.
draft, wasn't
Got to
it?
check that. Yeah, might have been, because then he was Browns and then he's been with Detroit since 21.
Yeah, that's a good choice.
Cold. I was just making the point on Gruden that, like, the word on the street or what I'm hearing is, like, if he gets an opportunity, like, he's got guys lined up. And okay, I don't know. Gannon's never been a coordinator anywhere, but John Lynch was never a GM before either. I mean, some of these guys step in and they're really good at what they do. I mean, John Lynch is one of the best GMs in football now, right? So you're right. You're right, Cold. He hasn't been a coordinator. At least I don't think so. And he's mostly in the booth now, doing, talking about sports. And I'm with both you guys. I don't know who's out there. I don't know who would come, but I know, like, you guys are all salivating over Ben Johnson. And I'm like, I don't know if I want any more whiz kids.
Yeah, because how good would his offense be? Listen, Ben Johnson is what Brian Daboll was 3 years ago. He was the hot name that's out there. And how good would Ben Johnson's offense be without? I mean, they're loaded on offense. They have the top 5 O-line. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown, you got Jared Goff, you got Gibbs, you have Montgomery, you have, they're loaded.
Yeah, you had Aiden Hutchinson, Goff playing out of his mind.
So, I mean, again, if he doesn't have the weapons, how good? To me, fans were salivating over Johnson the same way they were salivating over Brian Daboll at the time, 3 years ago. So, another interesting name, real quick, when it comes to, and he hasn't done anything but be interesting because he's got ties to the Giants and he's really done some good things in Detroit. Ray Agnew is another name to kind of throw out there as far as a GM goes. Again, giant ties, play for the Giants, and the way they draft over there, man, is like impressive, and the culture they built over there. So if you can bring that here, again, I'm not advocating one way or the other for Shane or Daboll, but if we're talking about it, possibilities, those are guys, the names that I'm thinking about that I'm going to throw in there as well.
Hey, JT wants to know if we've heard anything about looking at front office candidates. Now, like, everything's just going to be mum, JT, until the end of the season comes. Like, it's just, that wheel's not going to turn until the playoffs get here, right? And you see, like, who's available. Like, because everything, they've got certain rules put into place in the NFL. Like, so that stuff's not happening. You get your wrist slapped for stepping outside or coloring outside the lines. Yeah, Brad, not a bad pick either. I don't know if we need a new special teams coach. I don't have a big problem with our special teams, but Blackburn would love to probably come back, right? He's got some really good experience, coaching with the Rams and New England and Carolina. Keep Dave's, keep Shane. Again, I'm up until yesterday, Shawn, I was leaning on keeping Dave's, and now I'm not so sure.
I mean, listen, I know I'm in the minority here when it comes to this, but I just don't. My thing is this: if you're going to bring in somebody's going to change the identity, then so be it. Like bring in somebody who's going to change the identity. But I know that and it's proven all year that Dave's is scheming guys to get open. He just doesn't have his quarterback. So if you want to blame him for the quarterback room, but I'll bring this up, and when people talk about Drew Lock as the backup, well, who is Pat Mahomes' backup quarterback? It's Carson Wentz. Yeah, it's Carson Wentz. So what the Giants did was they made sure Daniel Jones knew he was QB1. There was no competition. They set him up to believe he was quarterback one, to be the guy. He was going to sink or swim, and he sunk with concrete shoes on. So people bitching about Drew Lock as the backup quarterback. Look at the backup quarterbacks around the league. You don't bring in a backup quarterback who could start. Typically, there's a few teams that have that, but again, Carson Wentz is Patrick Mahomes' backup. Do you think Carson Wentz is better than Drew Lock? And Drew Lock is not good. So
yes,
I just think they wanted to. He was quarterback one. They were going to bring in a backup who wasn't going to push him to say, "All right, this is your team, man. You either do it or you don't do it."
And you needed to know, Shawn, and don't forget the fact that nobody knew if Jones was going to be healthy. So the team needed to know there was an NFL caliber quarterback ready to step in for the first start of the season if Jones wasn't ready to go.
Yeah. And I want to see what he does with a good quarterback. Because, again, if you hear all year long, Kurt Warner, Rich Eisen, Jonathan Vilma, everybody that's broadcasting the games, and I don't know how many fans actually listen to the broadcast, but all year, all you hear is guys are open. Daboll scheming, getting guys open.
So the interesting part, Shawn, next year he goes into his 4th year, right? It's a 5-year deal. So let's say, guys, they bring in a quarterback, they draft one. Does he get an extension? Because he's not going to go into a 26 as a lame duck coach. So it'd be interesting to see at the halfway point if they're 3-6, but yet the quarterback that they drafted really hasn't played much. Does that warrant Daboll getting a new contract? And that's, I think you have to look to next year. How willing are we able to sit and let that new quarterback, and does that buy Daboll more time? Because they're 3-6. The new quarterback's been spoon-fed. They're not rushing him in. And now Daboll goes into 26 as a lame duck coach. What do you do with Daboll?
So I can answer that, actually. How you get around that, Chris, is you bring in a quarterback that wins you games next year. That saves them. That gets them the extension.
If they're 3-6 with a bridge quarterback, I'm just throwing a name, Jameis Winston, and they're scoring points, they're in games, but they didn't play. But they didn't play the rookie, right? They're going, but they're still 3-6. Does that save Daboll's job?
No, because Winston's going to lose most of your games by throwing 3 to 4 picks a game.
All right, so give me just for the hell of it, give me a name that
we've talked about it a billion times. The Giants have 2 opportunities, right? We've done a show 4 weeks ago. We did top 10, the top 10 free agent quarterbacks. Most of them are not good enough to win you games. Flacco can win you games, but cannot run Dave's system. Wentz has potential, but I don't know if he's got anything left to win games anymore, right? Mariota can run the system, right, and can win you games, but I don't know if he's going to pull this type of team out of the dumpster, right? I don't know if Mariota is good enough to do it. Can Mariota win 5 games? Yeah. Can you win 8 or 9? Probably not.
So because of this situation, then Daboll gets an extension after next year.
Only if they find a quarterback to win games, in my eyes. If they don't win 8 games next year, he's getting canned, whether they drafted a QB or not.
Right. But how many teams have actually extended guys in their final year before the year ended? I don't think it's that big of a deal to go through the year to see if you're going to extend them or not.
No, after next year.
Well, it all depends on what happens next year. That's the thing.
Right. That would be the time.
Well, that's the whole point.
If you get a quarterback and they do bad, and you see what's going on there, then you don't bring them back for year 5.
That's the point, though. If you draft, let's say, look, Sanders is the most pro-ready quarterback. You draft him, you put him in there, you're going to win 3 games. It's going to suck. You fire him, and then you got to start all over again. There's only one way, is to find somebody that can actually win you 8 games, turn it around, and groom the kid.
I mean, listen, Yeah, I don't know. I just have a different feel. Like I'm not worried about that lame duck status. I'm really
Well,
not at all.
Sean, forget
And
the
I'm
lame
not
duck
worried,
part.
not worried about after year one bringing in another coach after year one with a rookie. Now, if you're doing it year after year after year, that's a different story. But if you got a guy, listen, if they finish in the top 2, they're going to get a guy, in my opinion, who I think can win games next year and show promise and do some things. Like you just need that guy to come in and do that. So if he doesn't do that with either Sanders or Ward, then that's a problem. Then you let him go, and then you bring in somebody who can get it done, and the rookie will be fine. He'll be fine. I'm not worried about that. Now, again, if you're firing a coach every couple of years or new offensive coordinator a couple of years, that's a different story. But one time after 1 year, it'll be fine. It really will be fine.
Yeah, I don't see you winning more than 4 games with a rookie quarterback, no matter who it is. And you're not also talking about
But why though? You've had so many rookies that are winning games now in the last 2 years. I know the history from before, but you've had the last 2 years, CJ Stroud, Bo Nix now, Jaden Daniels, even Caleb's won 5 games this year, 6 games, whatever it is. Like you have rookies that are coming in and winning.
yeah,
Like I get asking what the percentages are, but it's a different era now. Like you literally have proven rookies coming in and actually winning.
First of all, it's an outlier. It's not a different era. 2 years ago is when Lance and Fields blew it. And the year before that, it was Mac Jones and Ritter. And before that, it was Trubisky and Haskell. Like, nothing's changed. The only thing that we had last year was a really good class of quarterbacks.
And you have 2 good quarterbacks this year that both Ward and Sanders are better than Desmond Ritter and Mac Jones. Like,
yeah. But again, those guys are going to be out of football in 2 years. Like, it's not saying a lot. You know what I mean? Like Sanders and Ward are going to come in. They're again, like, first of all, Bo Nix just literally has the absolute best opportunity because of Sean Payton. That guy would not be having success with probably 30 teams. So you're rolling the dice if you think you're going to win 8 games with a rookie quarterback. I don't know. I can't see it. But with that said, Chris, to answer your question, I don't think anybody knows because, like, how do you keep giving a guy an extension if he can't win? If he can't win.
Right. Well, my thinking was if you let Shane and Dable draft the quarterback, you can't expect much next year out of that new quarterback. You got to give him a couple more years, and that's the dilemma. Do you just cut ties and change everything now, or are you willing? I'm saying Mara to let it ride out next year. If they did draft the Shedeur Sanders and he didn't, and they won 5 games and they went 5-12, does that? You have to think, does Dable get a couple more years to see it through? Because you're allowing him to draft the quarterback. So my opinion, if you're letting those 2 guys draft the quarterback, then you should let them see it through a couple more years. It shouldn't be a 1-year deal, next year, and then Dable gets fired. You got to let him see it through, or just change it all now and bring a whole new regime in.
I'm just, again, nothing's going to change my mind. I'm too stubborn, I guess. Like, you got to go for it because we keep doing everyone laughs it off. Like not you, but saying laughs it off. We just keep doing the same thing. Like nothing changes. We keep hoping just make the right change.
Yeah, but we haven't done it in 6 years. We haven't chosen a quarterback.
I'm talking about no, you're right. The quarterback. I'm saying the Giants in general. Yeah. Like they don't do anything proactive, right? Like we knew we needed defensive tackles. We knew we needed corners, and we drafted a safety in a slot. I mean a safety and a nickel.
Well, the corners came off the board. You saw some of the guys, even Hard Knocks Shane had listed, and they popped off.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But my premise is that the Giants are doing what the book tells them to do.
Right.
Like this. Book says draft value is this. Oh, let me turn the page. This says I should do this. The great fucking teams just go do what's necessary. If you wanted the corner, go get the corner. Like, you're telling me right now we couldn't have had Daniels or May? Oh,
No.
the book says no. Book says we're not
How
allowed
are-
to do that.
We had to give up
How
too
are-
much for me.
Yeah, you have too much to do that. And Washington was never giving up that pick to us, not once. And New England wasn't going to let their quarterback go. They were. I don't care what anybody says. You'd have to trade like 6 first-round picks, and that would be crazy to do that.
I thought we were talking about in general. Like
other fans are saying that. Like that's been going around it. Like, oh, if they really wanted them, they would do it. No, Washington would never trade the pick to us to let us.
The quarterback thing last year, no, but like the year before, you know what I mean? Or they said you needed the corner and they're off the board. If you really wanted it, just go get it. Like just stop with our draft picks are so valuable, and here we are with McKeithen and Azudu. Yay! Like just go do what's right. Like that's my whole issue with this with Dabo and Shane. Like everything's super safe. Let's get a slot. Let's get a guy that can play tackle and guard. Yay. And then he can't do either. Like just go get the right guy. If you want the corner, go get the corner. Like why did we draft nothing against Theo Johnson, but we didn't need another tight end. Why did we draft Newman? Newman's a stud. We didn't need a safety. We could have picked up a free agent safety.
Wait,
We needed a tight end because Theo Johnson can block, and blocking.
We
needed a tight
crazy.
end.
We needed a wide receiver too, a cornerback, and a defensive tackle.
well, Waller kind of changed that too, right? I mean, we kind of knew he was. That opened the door.
You're telling me we couldn't. You're telling me for the team that throws 30 passes to the tight end, we couldn't get by with Bellinger and Mangrove. We could. Come on,
Manhurts.
Mangrove.
Listen, did you listen? We know Bellinger's a fan of the show, and we love him. He's a great pass catcher. But did you not
Doesn't
see this
matter.
bad ball yesterday?
Don't matter. Don't matter.
We would have not been able to get away with it. That's the point. So
see, that's the issue.
Listen,
That's the issue right there. We'll just keep getting guys that don't make a difference.
But we didn't expect Deontay Banks to regress the way he did. So let's be fair. Like if we're going to talk about we needed a corner, we did not expect Deontay Banks to play as bad as he did. Nobody saw that coming.
Nobody did.
So it's hard. Yes, people want the no names. They want the shutdown corners. But let's be realistic. Our secondary has played pretty damn well. They were 7th in the league in passing. So even though we don't have studs or we don't have a shutdown corner, they played pretty damn well. So the nickel made sense. Other things made sense, and they were good talent. I get it. I know they make sense. I mean, they make sense, and they were talented players that did it. And there wasn't another corner they could have went with. And you got
Shawn, they don't need to throw, and you run it down our throats.
Right, true. And listen, Newman's a stud, man. He's playing up to the line. He's a stud, and I'm not worried about it.
I'm not knocking the player.
Go after the quarterback. Get the quarterback that you want, whether it's trading picks to get a proven winner, or if you need to trade up to get the guy in the draft that you want. That I do agree with. Yeah, absolutely agree. My biggest problem with Shane is letting Barkley go, letting McKinney go, not keeping talent in the building because they're looking at positional value. But that's about me.
But Shawn, you cannot under any circumstances pay $17 million for a safety if you're not a playoff team. I'm not a cap guy. I think all you guys are crazy with your cap talking, all that crap. I'm just like, just get the guy. $17 million for a safety is absurd unless you're a playoff team. Barkley could have stayed and he wouldn't have done shit because we wouldn't have signed Runyon and we wouldn't have signed the Luminar.
I get it. But again, that is the thing. Like, you keep talent in the building. That's what I want. I want talent in the building. So moving forward, I don't care what position they play. You keep talent in the building because you then add more piece of talent because then you have to replace it and then you have to start over. Like you don't let talent leave the building. That's
and you know what, Shawn, to your point. I mean, a guy like McKinney, you don't let him hit free agency. You don't even wait till last year. You sign him the year before if you had that
he
you know,
had
Yeah,
with the
extend
GM.
him like you did with Thomas and Dexter Lawrence. Like you get ahead of the curve with that dude,
Right.
and that they didn't do it. And listen, Buffalo had 2 of the highest paid safeties in the league. So Shane came from a place where safeties get paid. I get we weren't a playoff team, but let's not say that McKinney doesn't make a difference on this defense, and maybe that changes the record. And then even if he stays and we get a quarterback next year, that team is going to be so much better, so much better. And listen, I love Newman, absolutely love Newman. I think he's going to be really, really good. But you got to
no. Newman's a great player. What the team needed was a wide receiver 2. They needed a defensive tackle. Our defensive tackles are just horrendous. Okay. And they needed corners. And we wound up with a slot corner. We wind up with a tight end. We wind up with a couple busted linemen and a safety. And I'm not saying that they're not good. Well, some of them anyway are good players. I'm just saying, like, we're, the youth of the world is like best player available. And every year we have no defensive tackles. We have no wide receiver 2. We could have had Pickens. We could have had, we didn't need to, maybe we didn't need to trade BJ Hill. I don't know.
Well, you know what, Craig, last year at defensive tackle, you let Shawn Robinson walk, but I think they saw a lot in Jordan Riley. And I think Jordan Riley just hasn't performed this year. But I think last year it was an indicator that this is the guy that's going to take that spot, and it just never worked out.
And Chris, you're nailing it. That's what I'm talking about. Like, all we do is what we saw. We draft him when what we saw, and they don't pan out. Like Pickens came right in, and the guy's a freaking
But Riley played well last year.
He played, but he again, not enough snaps. He played okay for a handful of snaps. He like you need to, at some point, the GM has to draft guys that just plug and play, man. They pop them in and they go and they make a difference, right? And you have to weigh your options on, best player available versus need. We keep going best player available, and we still have an enormous hole at wide receiver 2 and guard and defensive tackle. How many years can you continue to ignore what you need?
Yeah, and the unfortunate part is drafting.
Go ahead, Chris. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, an unfortunate part is all this cap money is being allocated to the offensive line because you're picking the wrong guys in the draft. So now you got to go outside in free agency and spend more money, which you could have spread. But unfortunately, they keep picking the wrong guys on the offensive line.
I mean,
they're going to have minimum $62 million in cap space this offseason. I think it's going to be more because the cap's going to go up more.
Yep.
Got rid of the guy that was responsible for drafting and couldn't develop Izzudu and McKeith and moved Izzudu to tackle. So he's gone. I think Priscilla will help bring in better guys, develop guys. And the roster was in such bad shape. Did we not forget in 2022? So you can't get plug and play guys as much as you want because you had to turn over the entire roster. I do think this draft, they're going to get the guys that we're talking about here because the roster is now in better shape than it was when they took over. Up and down the roster. Are there holes? Absolutely. No team is perfect, but they're in better shape and more talent up and down the roster than they were when they took over. So I think you can now get those guys. There's plenty of stud DTs in this draft you can get. There's no doubt about that. And I know, Spartan and True talk about those, but there's guys between free agency and draft, you can bring in the guys you need. Like go after a T. Higgins. Spend money on T. Higgins as a wide receiver too. How much better do you think Neighbors is going to be? How much better do you think Wandale is going to be as a wide receiver 3 and then Hyatt receiver 4? Like Slayton can
Hyatt's going to be.
He was a project. He's going to take longer to develop. He's got speed. Get rid of Slayton. Listen, I saw Slayton not go after a block yesterday when Tracy caught a ball, and I was like, "You got to be kidding me! That guy's got to go. He's got to go."
Yeah, you just don't like Slayton because I saw. Like, it happens all the time. Neighbors had a ball thrown behind him yesterday, and he looked over his shoulders like this.
But I'm talking about not attempting to make a block. That's different than looking over your shoulder or giving attitude.
There's a lot of apathy right now. I don't know if these guys want to play for Daves. I don't know if they're excited or not about playing. There's a lot of woe is me out here, right? So
so he can go.
Yeah. I just don't know if these guys want to play for Daves. I understand, I don't think they dislike Daves. I just don't feel like there's any excitement in the building.
Because look at those receivers know who their quarterbacks are. Like they know, like
Yeah.
you know, like that's that again. And they're 2-11. I mean, so
Hey, you still got to go to work and play hard. That's it.
Yep.
You're getting paid to be a pro, not a diva.
Yeah, and how big of an indictment is it that we brought Drew Lock in, or the Giants brought Drew Lock in? Should Shane have brought in somebody else? I mean, that's an indictment on him then, because he hasn't
And
been able to.
The pickings
give
were
us-
slim. I will say that.
What's that? The pickings were slim. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were. But could they have
All
done better than Drew Lock?
You know, when I remember, like, I don't think Heineke was out there. There wasn't really a lot to shoot because Heineke's a great backup. I don't think there was a whole lot.
I think Mariota was out there. That could have been somebody better than Lock.
Yeah. And again, Mariota might be a good bridge quarterback. And,
Yeah.
So let's have some fun and let's go speed round because we're going to have fun with this because I did not prepare you. All right. So we normally, if you're new to the show, we do speed round with our interviews when we have players on. We do speed round. And I'm going to do speed round with the guys. And I haven't told them what the questions are. So this is going to be fun. All right. Here we go. Speed round. By the way, Zach, it's good to be the king.
It's good to be the king.
Dang right. All right, Chris. One player. You get like 30 seconds or less
Jeez,
to answer this.
I don't
by the
like
way.
this. All right, go ahead.
All right, you're okay. You can handle it. Question number 1. 10 questions total.
Mhm.
One player you would cut today.
Wow,
You got 15 seconds.
All right. I don't know. Evan Neal had enough. Evan
All
Neal.
right. Evan Neal, it is. Go ahead. Shawn, you are on the clock. One player you would cut today.
Darius Slayton.
Wow, cut a wide receiver because Wandale is so much better. Speed round question number 2. Shawn, starting with you.
Yep.
One player you would bring back to help turn this team around.
Brian
You could pick
Burns.
if you could pick
On the Giants or in the league?
if you could pick any player from history to bring back
history.
to the Giants,
Great.
who would
Jeez.
it be to turn this team around?
Oh, it's Lawrence Taylor, without a doubt.
How about the last 5 years? Maybe we should narrow
All
it
right,
down.
let's
It's
do
too
that.
bit of history.
Let's say the last. Let's say the last 10 years.
That's 10 years. Oh man. Geez, now I gotta remember who was here in the last 10 years. I wouldn't, man.
Go from the last Super Bowl, right? From 2011, say. That'll make it easier.
Justin Tuck.
That's a good pick, Chris.
Man, I was gonna go with Justin Tuck. Give me Chris Snee. I don't know.
Oh, nice one. Like it.
Yeah, that's a good choice. Yeah, good choice.
Chris, who would you trade off the current roster? Who would be the one guy you think should go? And it's not necessarily because he's bad.
Mhm.
You may want picks. So maybe you want to trade Dexter, or maybe you want to just trade Simmons because you don't think he has value, or you want whatever. Who's the one player you think you want to trade off this roster?
I don't even know if there are guys you can trade.
It's hypothetical. It's hypothetical.
I don't want to get rid of Dex. Yeah, I know. Can I say before the trading deadline? Before he got hurt? Aziz.
Yeah, forget. There's no trade deadline right
right.
now. You can trade a player and get picks, or you can trade a player and do something. Who you trade?
I don't even know who's worth it.
Jeez.
This is bad, man. I don't even know who. And I don't want to get rid of Andrew Thomas. I would have said, all right, if all these pass rushers keep getting hurt, Aziz. I guess. I don't know.
All right, so you're trading Aziz.
I
All
guess.
right. Oh yeah, House MD, the doctor, said Aziz also.
Okay.
All right, go ahead, Shawn. If you could trade one player off this current roster, who would it be?
Devin Singletary.
Oh, all right.
Okay, fair
Yeah.
enough.
Mhm.
Shawn,
Yeah.
It's a walk-off win.
Yeah.
Interception to win the game, or an 80-yard bomb to win the game.
Oh, 80-yard bomb to win the game. Malik Neighbors.
Okay. Shawn, Chris, walk off.
Mhm.
Interception to win the game, like a pick six, 80 yards,
Mhm.
or an 80-yard bomb.
Is this a home game? Because we never win any, and they only average 10 points a game. Is it a home game?
Sure.
Yeah, give me the bomb on offense.
All right, fair enough. I like it. Okay. Chris, who deserves more snaps the rest of the season? Belton, Simmons, or I'm gonna butcher his name here. Cole will help me out. Darius Masso. Masso?
So,
Muasau. Muasau.
Muso.
who
Muasau.
deserves more?
Muasau. He's Polynesian, right?
Yes.
Who deserves more snaps?
deserves-
Mawasau, Muso. What's his show? His name is Darius.
I don't know who deserves more. I'm going to go with Belton just because it's his third year. I want to see more of him, and Marcel will be here a while. So, give me Belton.
You had to pick a hard name when Chris butchers everybody's name. You had to pick Darius Muasau so he could butcher that too. That's just
I know. I did, right?
Yeah, well, that's okay. I butchered it too.
that potential.
All right, who deserves more snaps, Shawn?
Colt is
Belton,
killing me.
Simmons, or Musau, Musiso?
There's a lot of vowels. The Italians should be able to pronounce it. I've got Italian and I can pronounce it. I'm going to go with Simmons.
Simmons, all right.
I should have waited longer and do the drama like Christensen. Oh, geez, I don't know. Let's not add to the drama.
I know.
Chris,
I'm on the spot.
Chris,
Oh, my
ready?
goodness. Yeah. Yep.
Best backup quarterback of all time.
For the Giants.
Yes.
All right.
It's the Giants
Oh
podcast.
man, this is well, you're probably gonna go with Jeff Hostetler or Dave Rutledge.
Who is it?
Or
Which one?
Go with Hostetler. Jeff Hostetler.
All right, go ahead, Shawn. Best backup QB
Won the Super
of
Bowl.
all time.
Oh man, oh man, this is tough. This is a hard one. All the great backup quarterback. Here's one. Phil Simms.
He's right.
All right, that's kind of a cop out. I'll give it to you. But that's
Well, listen, I was going to go
Shawn with the
Hostetler, but
technicality.
listen, he was the backup to Scott Bruner.
Yeah,
So he was the backup quarterback for a full year. A full year. It wasn't because he was injured. He lost the job to Scott Bruner.
I would have went with Kurt Warner.
That's the best.
Right?
Well,
Kurt
I mean, it's a
Warner.
whole quarterback, yeah, but I was thinking who did well in Giants history. There's a technicality there too. See?
Yeah, I was thinking
Kent Graham actually wasn't a bad backup quarterback either.
I'll tell you what, when Hostetler went to the Raiders, man, he was lighting it up with Tim Brown for a while.
Yeah, Hostetler was my favorite.
This one's for you, Shawn.
Yeah.
Cheerleaders or no cheerleaders?
Oh man. Listen, I'm going to say yes to cheerleaders because, damn, we need something. Like, make them better than the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. Like, if we're going to lose, at least we can look at some TNA. Like, seriously. You go to a game, shit, give me that. Yeah. Give me cheerleaders.
I'll tell you one thing, Shawn, you're right, because if the Giants had cheerleaders, I'd be going to game to get the calendar, right? I'd be like, you know what? The game sucks, but give me the calendar. Chris, cheerleaders or no cheerleaders?
Well, you know, the Giants did have cheerleaders for a short time back in the 70s. I don't know if you knew that. And they were out, and they had to spell Giants, and they spelt it wrong. And I think it was Wellington Mariner said, "All right, that's it. I've seen enough." You got to check that out. I believe they tried, and they did something wrong on the field, and that was the end of that. They screwed up. But
all right, no,
all right. So give me cheerleaders.
You're going cheerleaders. All right,
nice.
I'll make sure I put a note in.
You got to watch something when they're losing, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because when we're losing, my eyes are closed.
You get tired of looking at the scoreboard.
Yeah, and even if they're winning, they're doing that too. So it's a win-win.
That's right.
That would only be 2 times. So, speed round question number 8. Chris, favorite Super Bowl team: 86, 91, 2007, 2011.
Favorite Super Bowl? Well, 20. Well, I'm gonna have to go.
Not favorite Super Bowl.
Okay.
Favorite Super Bowl team.
Oh, favorite Super Bowl team. I'm gonna have to go 86.
Okay. Shawn.
Yeah, 86, hands down. Not even close.
Yeah. Well, I do really love that 2007 team
Mm.
with,
Well,
with
yeah.
Tuck and Strahan and Eli.
Mhm, mhm.
You know,
And what they did, but yeah.
And
like
what
it's
was on the line.
polarizing as
Yeah.
LT is the easy pick. You know, like in Banks and Leonard and those
And
guys.
Martin,
But,
yeah, yeah. And
Yep.
Bavaro,
Um,
and yeah.
all right, then I'm gonna flip that coin. I'm gonna flip that question back to you. What's your favorite Super Bowl, Chris, that you've watched?
Got to go with 2007.
That would be mine. Go ahead, Shawn.
Yeah, 2007. I mean, beating the undefeated Patriots. Yeah,
Mm.
hell yeah.
Dude, nothing better
Yeah,
than the
Yeah. I would say
I would
that
say
first one in 86 was special. Like that's, that's a close second for sure. And it might be tied for first, but
yeah. I love the stomp you out. That was just some
yeah.
good stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Speed round question number 9. We're down to the last 2. Chris, most underrated Giants wide receiver of all time.
Underrated.
How good are my questions?
Wow, man, this is of all
They're
time
good.
under
Struggling here, so they're real good.
Wow, you got to give him more than a minute here, man. You gotta let me think about this. Underrated. Now you got to. Oh, man.
Do, 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 do.
Come on, man.
I mean, man, dude, underrated.
I should be playing.
Wait, was
But
Hakeem Nicks underrated? Was he underrated or not? Like, how did the league see him? Like Mario?
I don't think Knicks was underrated, but
Okay.
that's your
yeah.
call.
No. I gotta.
My fans, maybe.
I don't know. Underrated, man. Give me. Boy, this is so crazy. Tough one. I don't know. Was Lionel Manuel underrated back in the 80s? I don't know.
All right, you going with Lionel Manuel?
No, I don't know. Help me out here. Who's Manningham, Baker?
You're asking me to get help.
I'm
It's a
looking
speed
at
round.
there. You know, I'm going to go with Brad. I'm going to say Stephen Baker because
Man, you just changed your mind 4
I
times.
don't know, man. This is no.
All right,
I'm changing. I'm going with Cole. Let's go Manningham because I believe he was underrated until that Super Bowl. So I'm going to go Manningham. Good job, Cole. I'm going with you, Manningham. Go with Super Mario.
Go ahead. Sure. Chris just got
How do I
5
follow that?
guesses.
How do I follow that? Like, literally, how do I follow that? Let me ask you, are we talking about underrated by fans or underrated by what standard? And you know what? I'm gonna give 2 names. I'm gonna give 2 names because Chris gave like 6. So I'm gonna say
Chris basically named the wide receiver staff for 30 years.
I'm changing. I'm going with Ernest Gray. Ernest Gray, 1983.
Nice pick. I'm going to give 2 names. I'm going to say Mark Ingram and Amani Toomer because I don't think Amani Toomer is appreciated as much as he should be for what he did as a Giant. So those are the 2 names I'm giving.
All right, cool. I actually gonna just throw one in there. Because when I wrote these questions, it popped out at me is I just always thought Victor Cruz was underrated on what he did being a walk on, getting thrown off the team in UMass, coming out here and like one play makes his career against the Jets, and then he's stashed on the practice squad. Like what he did, in those 4 years was super cool, a lot of fun. I just find him like in the bigger picture. Not in that moment of time, that 2007-11 window, but I don't know. I just always find like Victor Cruz gets talked about because of the salsa, but what he did, he almost had back-to-back 1,000-yard receiving. I think he came up a little short in the 3rd year, but if you round it, right, he basically had almost, 3. We haven't had a receiver with 1,000 yards. It's OBJ, and Cruz did it almost 3 years in a row. So I always think of Cruz. I like the Manningham pick. I like the Amani Toomer. That guy. Geez, the amount of receiving yards he had 10 years in a row is incredible.
Yeah.
Okay, number 10, which is the last question of the night. And we'll wrap this puppy up. One's career is basically over and one is just beginning. When it's all said and done, who will have the better career on the playing for the New York Giants? Odell Beckham Jr., Malik Neighbors. Chris, starting with you. Chris is taking so long.
I'm gonna go with Malik Neighbors in the hopes of
Chris
a
is like,
quarterback.
Chris is like, can I answer this on Tuesday?
How many years was OBJ here? 5 years?
I think it was 6, but
6?
Zach, can you look up Odell Beckham? Was he a 5 year tenure or a 6-year tenure? Chris is like literally like, can I get back to
This
you
is
on
a tough
Wednesday?
one. This is a tough one. I'm gonna go with in the hopes that Neighbors will be here longer. I don't. I'm just going with Neighbors. Maybe.
Wow.
Go
Okay.
Neighbors.
Big shoes. All right. Sure. Literally, Chris is like, can I call you back on
I hate
Friday?
it.
Right?
Yeah.
The Chris, I
Seriously.
told you like blue or black. Oh man, I don't know.
No, blue. Come on. What kind of question?
Yeah.
Zach says that Odell was here for 5 years.
Okay.
So,
So the
you're
question,
up,
just so I'm clear, the question is, who do I think is going to have the better Giants career, Odell Beckham or Malik Neighbors?
yeah,
Is that,
yeah. At the end,
at the end,
body of work.
body of
Yeah,
work.
which was
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't realize that one point. I remember this because I tweeted it out. At one point, Beckham and Eli held 18 records, Giants receiving records. He basically broke everything. Not that we've ever been like, big time stud wide receivers. You had Plaxico and Toomer, but we've never had like all world wide receivers like some franchises do. But there was one point where Eli and Odell had like 18 records, like every crazy record you could think of. So Neighbors has some big shoes to fill without a doubt. And he's starting off with, no quarterback. And he's still doing well, by the way, really well with no quarterback. So
Don't take away my thunder for my answer. So I'm going to go Neighbors because with that quarterback play, he has still done something that no other Giant receiver has done. And when it comes to the amount of receptions he's had this year, and he's almost is he at 1,000 yards, just under 1,000 yards? So I think it's going to be Neighbors because, again, he's doing things now that when it comes to receptions and everything else, he's doing it with poor quarterback play. So yeah, my pick is Neighbors on that one. And I wanted to talk a little longer since Chris, took forever with his answers. So I wanted to
feel free, Shawn. I want to add one more thing when you're done, though.
Oh, of course. You want to add another guy to that? Like you want to? We covered like every receiver. Now we got another receiver.
He's
literally, I forget what it was, but Neighbors literally just broke some sort of record for that somebody that nobody has done. So I'm gonna take Neighbors. So go ahead, Chris. You want to add another?
You're okay with that? Thanks, Shawn. No, I just want to say that the league has changed.
Robinson.
In a matter of just a few years, the league's changed so much that these quarterbacks, and you alluded to it, Shawn, they don't even get under center coming out of college. So it's even become more of a passing league, than when Eli was here with Bradshaw and Jacob. So I think just the fact that they throw the ball even more is going to help Neighbors get to those, crazy numbers.
I've never seen anybody do what Beckham did, for a franchise. And the only reason why Neighbors, and this is not downplaying Neighbors, but Odell had a hamstring injury his rookie year and missed like the first 4 games, or he would hold whatever record that Neighbors is breaking. Now, I'm not saying that Neighbors couldn't break it. I just think Odell was just super special, super, super, super special in everything he did. And it was an international star, like overnight. I can't see anybody having a better tenure. I mean, if he does, good for us, right? If Neighbors does, right? I kind of lean on OBJ that way. He was the most dynamic New York Giant since Lawrence Taylor.
Well, the interesting part, Craig and Shawn, is that if OBJ played with Drew Lock and Jones, he would have never had that one-handed catch because the Giants never throw downfield. It would have never happened.
Odell would have quit already. He'd be like, I'm out of here. These guys suck.
Eli benefited from Odell and Odell benefited from Eli. Like they were 100%. Good for each other. And I love that. Listen, Odell Beckham was the last player jersey that I owned as a Giant. So huge. So for me, even to say Neighbors,
No, that's cool. No, it's cool. It's something to look forward to. Like, listen, at the end, Odell was just a dork with everything he was doing, like throwing Eli under the bus, getting caught with that chick with the drugs and all that crazy stuff. But man, he was wicked talented, and like I said, I think it's a bold statement when I think of all the years, 100 years of Giants players, the second most dynamic player the Giants have ever had since Lawrence Taylor is stinking Odell Beckham. I've never seen anybody more electric than that cat. You know what I mean? Like, I like Neighbors. I just don't think they're even the same player, skill set wise. I just think they're just different players. But that's pretty cool. That was fun. Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll be back next week. I'll be back to the studio, normal, back at the house office. Don't forget, Wednesday night, Truth and Spartan are ripping through your pregame. Talk about how the Giants are going to lose by at least 32 against the Ravens. And don't ask Chris any questions because he's going to take at least an hour to answer them.
I like to be prepped first.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. I don't know.
Yeah, I know.
Damn it. Here, look, this is perfect right here. Ready? Look. Damn it, Chris.
Thanks, House. All right, man.
Look, man, you guys were a lot of fun tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Hey, do me a favor. Go out there and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Giants Rush. You guys know about that. I'm trying to pump these guys up. So it helps us out if you guys subscribe, if you haven't already. Pretty sure you guys are all in there. Tell your friends. You're looking for a last-minute gift, by the way, for your brother, your son, your friend. Check out nygiantsrush.com. There's the team store there. You can buy, all sorts of cool stuff, in there. If you see something, if you don't see something in there you want, let me know. I'll make it for you guys. I'll get it done. So yeah, look, Zach is showing his. Hang on, let's put Zach in here. Look, ready? Boom.
Let's go.
That's Zach behind the scenes there. Yeah. So if you guys want anything, just check out the store. If you're looking for a gift or something cool, we always give Chris Peace a plug. Bang. Our resident fisherman wearing the brand new logo with the Lady Liberty, on a crew neck, real nice light blue one. So shout out to all you guys hanging out. I hope I said hello to all you guys. I hope I didn't miss any of you guys. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we will see you guys next week. Peace.